Have you ever started exercising, felt really good about it, and then 2 weeks later it's gone? You didn't forget, you didn't get lazy, you just stopped. It fizzled out before any momentum was created. I sometimes call this the 2-week wonder phase, where something starts strong and quietly fades out. It's easy to assume that it's a motivation problem, that you need more discipline, more willpower, more commitment. But that's usually not what's happening. We've talked about in previous videos about things like habits and consistency. But before any of that works, the experience itself has to give you a reason to come back. Now, we know this from behaviour science. People don't stick with things just because they're important. They stick with things that feel good enough to do again, because the brain is constantly asking, do I want to do this again? And if the answer is no, it doesn't matter how good it is for you, you likely won't keep doing it. So when exercise doesn't stick, it's usually not because you don't care. It's because the experience itself isn't giving you a reason to come back. Sometimes it feels like punishment or repetitive or isolating, and sometimes it just feels flat. And people don't stick with things that feel like that. What makes MOSSA On Demand different is that the experience is built to help you want to come back. The music, the coaching, the structure, it's all designed to feel engaging instead of something you have to grind through on your own. So instead of wondering what to do next, you can simply press play and step into something that pulls you in. You can try out all of our workouts with a free trial. We'll drop the link in the description. So when exercise feels flat, it's not just a motivation problem, it's the experience. We know certain things change how exercise feels. Music, the environment, the people around you. And for a lot of people, those things make it feel better and easier to come back to. And when those pieces come together, that's when exercise starts to feel like something you actually enjoy. But here's what matters more than we think. Not every experience works for every person. If you're the one who's first on the dance floor, you probably need rhythm, energy, music. If you loved practice as an athlete, you might crave structure, coaching, progression. If you like to measure progress, strength training might light you up. Because when the experience matches who you are, it stops feeling like something you have to do and starts feeling like something you want to come back to. Consistency isn't something you force, it's about finding something that pulls you back. And I'll share this from my own experience. I was lucky. I found group exercise early in my late teens, and it's something I've come back to again and again over the years, not because I've always been motivated, but because it was something I genuinely enjoyed being part of. From the get-go, it was about the music, the energy, the shared experience. It never felt like something I had to force. It felt like something I wanted to return to. And looking back, that made all the difference. We also know something else. People are far more likely to stick with exercise when there's another person or people involved. In one study, people were actually more consistent when their reward depended on showing up with someone else, even though it made things more complicated, because it adds something powerful: accountability, connection, enjoyment. And interestingly, most people underestimate how much that matters. And this is where it goes a step further, because it's not just about what you do, it's how the experience is built. For some people, that might be structure and progression. For others, it's coaching. For others, it's music and energy. And when those elements are intentionally designed, something shifts. Exercise stops feeling like something you have to push through and starts feeling like something that pulls you in. There's a way I often describe this. I call it exertainment, where exercise isn't just something you do, it's something you experience. And that might sound a little like surface level or even a little outdated. Because for some people, exercise to music still brings up images of old school aerobics. But what modern formats have figured out is that when movement, music and coaching are designed together, something very different happens. The experience becomes more immersive, more engaging, more human. And that's not a small thing, because when something feels immersive, you stop watching the clock, you stop negotiating with yourself, and you start staying. The body adapts to movement, but behaviour follows experience. If the experience isn't engaging, it won't stick. If it doesn't feel good, you won't come back. That's why finding the right experience matters more than people realize. For some people, that might be running. For others, it's strength training on the gym floor. And for a lot of people, it's something that feels guided, structured, immersive, something that takes the thinking out of it and lets you just show up and move. And if you're having trouble finding the right kind of exercise experience, let me offer you 2 suggestions. First, check out MOSSA On Demand. It's our library of workouts and recoveries filmed in a group fitness setting to bring that group energy to you wherever you are. Or second, visit the locator on our website and find a health club, YMCA or rec centre near you that partners with MOSSA. So you don't just feel the energy, you're part of it in a live group fitness workout. We'll drop both links in the description. So if exercise hasn't been sticking, it might be worth asking a different question. Not, why can't I stay consistent, but is this something I actually want to come back to? Because that changes everything. You're not a 2-week wonder because you lack discipline. You're a 2-week wonder because the experience hasn't given you a reason to stay. And the good news is that's something you can change. I'm curious, what tends to happen for you? Do you feel motivated at the start and then lose it after a couple of weeks? Or have you found something that actually sticks? Let me know in the comments. And if these conversations are helping you rethink exercise in a way that actually fits your life, consider subscribing so we can keep building something more sustainable.